I recently did a reaction to System of a Down Aerials and found out that Slayer was System of a Down's favourite band, and I have to admit, I haven't actually given them a listen. So I thought it was about time. I love this distorted tone, it's very ominous. Oh, creepy. It's like setting up an atmosphere. Yeah. So eerie again. This riff. And then building on the third. I love that, how they built in this eerie world in which the song lives in. It really sets the scene, and I know that's not so usual within a lot of music nowadays. I think for metal, there's a lot of people who still love a good atmospheric start to a song. I also love that initial riff because it has this really eerie feel, and the build with the third above coming in. It's like auditory imagery. Yeah. Okay. This is considered one of the biggest songs of thrash metal, and these guys are one of the big four: Megadeth, Metallica, and Anthrax as the other ones. And this song, I totally get it. The vocals are so interesting because they're very straight in tone, yet they sound so easy. And I found out something fascinating about him that makes me understand the whole way that he is using his body, and it's amazing. The singer Tom Araya, before he was in the band, was a respiratory therapist, so he really understands how the whole respiratory system, how the lungs work, how the diaphragm works, how the rib cage works, how all the little intercostal muscles, which are the muscles in between your ribs, and all the auxiliary muscles in breathing work. And I can see that in how he is singing, because he is creating this resonant, well-produced shout that is not pushed, but it has power, it has attack, it sounds raw, yet he's not tensing, he's not squeezing, he is using his breath so well. And it's interesting as well because within his job, it wouldn't have just been the lungs, it would have been about the lungs and the heart. And the heart is really important because it's on the front of our body on the left hand side. It means our left lung is slightly smaller than our right lung, but it also means that a lot of the lung tissue is at the back of our body. So often we think of breathing forward when we breathe in and filling up our belly, which is a good thing in that our diaphragm comes down and it pushes down our guts, and those guts kind of fill up our belly. Yet Actually, in the movement of our rib cage when we breathe in, our ribs come out like this, like bucket handles, and at the back, it also kind of comes out like little angel wings. And if you feel around the back of your body like this, hopefully you can feel that big movement there. Not everyone has movement, especially if you have a little bit of back tension. So how do you become good at raw vocals? Get good at breathing. Oh, and get a massage. That gets rid of a lot of that tension around your ribs at the back. It's so good. Interesting. It's kind of pitched, it's kind of not, in that it's more of a shout than a sung note, but there's still a very specific way to make sure that this is healthy. Of course, if you've ever gone out and you've shouted at someone and you've felt that feeling, that's often because it's the amount of tension that you're putting through your body, the amount of pressure you're putting through. But actually, like, I imagine that his feet are relaxed and he's just using that respiratory system really, really well to create the sound. Now, this song has been covered by lots of people, but there's one really notable version that I'd like to point out, and that is one by Tori Amos. Yeah, when the band first heard her version of the song, they did not recognize it at all. It does sound pretty different. I love how people are taking their own interpretations of it. That's what art is all about. I love it. Can we talk about the guitar riff? That kind of creepy chromatic scale is so wonderful. A chromatic scale is going down or up on half notes, half tones, and that gives this kind of unsettling feel. Chromatic scales are actually used a lot in James Bond, and it gives that kind of sneaky, creepy feel. I also kind of like that there's minimal melodic interpretation, that it's quite simple, because it makes it feel more visceral and shouted and raw and real. And there's definitely a place for sung vocals. I love sung vocals, but there's definitely a place just to express. I think we need that as humans sometimes, to just let go of our anger and our rage and express that in a healthy way, and this does that. And the imagery is quite visual. Wow. Wow, the audience. That must be amazing hearing that. I could really hear how he's managing, and this is a fancy word I'm going to say, his subglottal pressure. That means the force underneath his vocal cords. He also has this really relaxed open jaw. You could see all the shapes he's making with his mouth and how relaxed everything is. These masseter muscles here seem super, super chill. You know, I think a lot of music like this gets a bad reputation and people don't think there's technique behind it, but there really is. That is... Wow, it's like chaos. Wow. I also want to point out that this isn't necessarily what I would classify as harsh vocals. There are harsh vocal moments within it, but there's a lot of cleanness within this. There's a lot of straight vocal cord use within this rather than false fold or shy. That gives a very distinct tone. Before you go, I have just released my very own album. It's a story of darkness into light. If you're into Slayer, you'll probably prefer the start of the album. It's definitely more dark, and those songs are available here on YouTube. The whole album is available on my website bethroars.com and on Bandcamp, and I would love if you could check it out. I think you might like Phonograph Electronic. It's a bit creepy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.